Hello, I'm Dr. Troy Rand. Just wanted to thank everybody for joining us in our first ever video seminar that we're doing. Okay, we're very excited to be bringing it to you this way. That way you can just stay at home and watch the video and learn all the necessary information. Okay, so what we're going to discuss tonight is the idea of thinking well. All right, if anybody's been to our office or been associated with our office, they know our mantra is to be fit, eat right, think well, and improve your performance. So what we're going to focus on tonight is the thinking well aspect of everything, okay? This is really a part that people don't look at in their lives necessarily. But if you don't do this aspect of it, a lot of the changes you try to make in your other aspects of your life, as far as eating right especially, won't be very successful, okay? So let's jump into it. One of my favorite quotes is from Albert Einstein, okay? He said, "You cannot solve problems with the same level of thinking that created them." Okay? This is so true in how we think, and how we move, and how we live our lives on a daily basis. The way our society is going with healthcare and with all these kinds of things is not the right way. Okay? We need to start thinking differently and start thinking about the choices we make on a daily basis. The choices in this category of your life, as far as how you organize your life, how you think about the stressful events that happen to you, those kinds of things, that's what's going to really determine the level of your health and where you're at in your processes and in your lifestyle, okay? So, everybody lives on a health continuum. This is important to understand. On one end you have people that are sick, on the other end you have people that are healthy, okay? And usually everybody is falling in between there, okay? And the thing that we have to realize is just because we're here one day doesn't mean we're going to be here the next day. Or if we're down here, it's a daily choice that determines where you're at on this continuum. So when you're learning about these things tonight and you're deciding what choices to make, you need to make these choices daily and then think about this continuum. Does this choice move me closer to health, or does this choice move me closer to death? Okay? So you have to think about those. And when you make those decisions, make them regarding that. And that you're moving towards health is why you chose that. Okay? Alright, so we live in a society that doesn't take responsibility for their choices and where they land on that health continuum. Okay? Especially regarding thinking well, if you're not proactive with your life and do not make those conscious choices, you're going to have a hard time being healthy. There's just no way around it. So we're going to begin tonight by making some connections that lots of times we don't talk about because it's a little bit too scary for people to go down this road, okay? Unless you're comfortable with yourself internally and what you truly believe, okay? So let's get going. So first we're going to talk about the major premise. Okay, me being a chiropractor, this is about life, but it's also the major premise of chiropractic. Okay, a universal intelligence is in all matter and continually gives to it all its properties and actions, thus maintaining it in existence. Okay, and then we go on to say the meaning of life is the expression of this intelligence through matter. Okay. So why do I have those two pictures up there? One being a steak and one being a finger. Well, obviously one has life in it and one doesn't. Okay? We don't go back to that thinking when we're thinking about our bodies and how we're moving forward and how we're moving towards health. Okay? We have to realize that we have that internal intelligence in our body, okay, that was given to us by God, in my opinion. He's the one that developed everything. He's the one that created everything so we could be self-healing and self-adapting. And that's what this is talking about. So we have to have the correct expression of life in our bodies. Otherwise, the choices we are going to make is not going to make a real big difference. Okay? So I believe the secret to thinking well starts with realizing that we need to be connected with that source of intelligence. Okay? The more we're connected with our source, whatever you call it, your spirit, your soul purpose, your whatever, the more I'm connected on a daily basis with God in my life, the easier it is for me to make the choices to think well in those kinds of things. All right? So we have to live consciously according to that connection. All right? We need to continually move towards health on that health continuum. Okay? As you're going to see today, towards the end of what we're going to talk about, I'm going to share how I keep connected and how I do some different things that people maybe don't think about. And this is just all fairly new for me. This just happened within the last couple months. So it's definitely a neat exercise, and it definitely helps you think well in a proactive way. Okay. So first we're going to talk about stress a little bit, just because thinking and stress usually goes together. All right? Hit the button too quick. So stress is a force that causes change in your life. Okay? Stress can be positive and stress can be negative. If you've heard me talk before, you know this is very true, and we've talked about this almost in every talk. Okay? It's just a force. It doesn't mean, oh my goodness, I'm stressed out. It could be going out and exercising. That could be a positive stress to your body. Okay? So, stress comes in 3 dimensions. All right? So tonight we're going to only cover one of those. That's where the other seminars we've had, that's where we cover the other topics. Okay? So stress comes in 3 dimensions, and it can be positive or negative. Okay? So there's 3 dimensions of stress, one being physical, one being biochemical, or what you put in your body, and then one being psychological. So obviously we're going to talk about the psychological aspect of stress tonight and that dimension of our lives. Okay? So some positive psychological stress examples. Loving relationships is a big one. Okay? And really the key word there is loving. Okay? It doesn't really matter how many friends you have if they're not good quality friends. Okay? Really, when you're looking at relationships and those kinds of things you have with other people, it's about the quality, not the quantity. Okay? And you want to make sure you're both getting something beneficial out of it. Okay? So if you're continually giving to a relationship and you're not getting anything back in return, well, that's not beneficial for you at all. So why do we keep those kinds of relationships? Okay? It's something you have to look at, and some people you just have to get rid of your life. And some people you just keep them in there and move on and keep going. Okay? So accomplishing an important task or goal, all right? That's a positive thing, but we don't think of that enough, and we don't celebrate those enough. All right? We tend to go back and think about all the bad things that happen to us in the day. All right? We need to think about those good things and celebrate our lives. All right? A healthy self-esteem is really, really, really important. Okay? I was just watching a video actually that talked about the I, all right? Then it's not to be selfish, it's to be self-full. Because if you're self-full, you're going to be able to give more to other people, okay? It's not so much as being selfish, okay? So you want to have that healthy self-esteem to where you know you're worth it, and you have learned that, and you practice that on a daily basis, okay? So also doing something good for yourself. You have to celebrate your life, okay? You have to celebrate your wins. You have to celebrate all those things, okay? So some negative psychological stress examples are financial troubles, all right? They all happen to us, but it's a matter of how we deal with them that makes one person different from the other person, okay? You can't let it consume you all the time, all right? You can't just as soon as you get home go into stress because of the finances and all those kinds of things. You have to make the choice to deal with those in a positive light. You have to try to find the solution to those so you can move forward. All right? Stress in relationships. Just like I talked about loving relationships, you got to get rid of the bad relationships. Okay? There's no other way around it. Okay? You either solve what's bad in that relationship or you just get rid of it. Okay? Low self-esteem. That's a negative psychological stress, obviously, because you're trying to get rewards from the outside rather than you being inside out. Okay? If you're confident in yourself, you're going to portray a certain thing to the world, whereas if you're not, you're going to be waiting for that reward from the outside environment. Okay? Chaos and disorganization is a huge psychological stress, a huge biochemical stress, all those kinds of things. Because if you're disorganized, it's impossible to eat the right foods. Guaranteed. It also goes along with, if you can't schedule your day accordingly, then you're not going to have time to exercise. And we hear that excuse a lot. Oh, I just don't have time to eat the right foods, and I don't have time to exercise. Well, it's a matter of organizing your life and finding the holes. Because successful people make those priorities, and they make it organized, their life organized, in order for them to do those things that make them successful. Okay? So to increase positive psychological stress, you need to have a routine, first and foremost. All right? You need to have a routine. Other thing you want to do in that routine, though, is you need to quiet your mind, relax, and contemplate what you're thankful for in life. Okay? When I go through my exercise towards the end, you're going to see this is the first thing I do. Okay? You have to think what you're thankful for in life. Because no matter how bad our lives are, they could be a lot worse. Could be dying from cancer. We could just get in an accident and lose both our legs. We could, you know, the list goes on and on. You know, there's usually something worse than what you're experiencing. So we have to be thankful for just being able to be upright and breathe. Okay? Sorry. Exercise. Exercise is a positive psychological stress. Okay? There is tons and tons of research out there that shows exercise actually reverses depression and anxiety. Okay? So this is very important. You have to exercise. Okay? Chiropractic care. As we talked about in the beginning, with the major premise is the expression of that intelligence through your body. The only thing that can interfere with that is a misalignment in your spine called a subluxation can actually cause some interference to that expression of that intelligence. Okay, so chiropractic care is important with your psychological state. If you have some self-esteem issues and you're looking for that external rewards more than you are those internal rewards, a very good book is called The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. It's by Nathaniel Branden. You can find it on Amazon, all over the place. Okay? It's a very, very good book. Even though it was wrote quite a few years ago, he is by far the pioneer of self-esteem. He was writing about it before it became such an issue to where we're an externally gratified society that we are. Okay? So we need to work on improving that self-esteem. That's his specialty, so the best thing to do is to go through that book and do the exercises in it and move forward in that area. Okay? The last thing on the page is you have to take some time for yourself every day. Okay? If you're not taking time for yourself, then it's not possible for you to de-stress and to be grateful for the day and to do all those kinds of things. All right? You have to take the time for yourself. Some health effects of positive psychological stress management. Okay? You're obviously going to have decreased pain because you're up, you're moving around, you're living life the way you want to live it. Okay? So it's not causing you to be stressed and inflamed. All right? You're going to have more energy because of those choices you're making. Because you're exercising and your body's functioning better, you're going to have some better and more restful sleep. Your immune system's going to work better. You're going to be more vital, which means you're going to enjoy life and you're going to continue to grow your health. All right? And the most important thing, in my opinion, is that decreased need for medicine. Okay? Too many people are on medicine. You know, it's just an everyday thing. People come into our office and they're just on way too much medicine for things they don't need to be medicated for. Okay? Because if they were connected to their source and their body was functioning the way we were designed to be, then the medication would not need to be there. Okay? So to reduce negative psychological stress, you have to be conscious of your choices. Okay? Everybody has bad stuff happen to them. I do. Everybody does. Super successful, people with tons and tons of money, they still have bad things happen to them. It's how you react and how you choose to react to that stress to make it positive or negative. Okay? So you have to be conscious of what things are causing stress in your life and address them rather than avoid them. Okay? Whether it's relationship or financial issues or whatever as far as that goes. Okay? Avoidance is a common but misguided reaction to things that cause psychological stress. Okay? Avoiding something is never going to solve it. Okay? And it's going to just continue to be a problem forever and ever. Okay? Until you confront it and move forward. All right? You need to stop consuming foods that make you feel tired or edgy. Okay, sugar and caffeine are really, really big triggers for this. There's just a study that just came out that shows in 2 weeks, high fructose corn syrup actually increases your risk of heart disease. Okay, in 2 weeks, you can actually start seeing changes in your blood vessels. So you have to stop consuming sugar and caffeine on a basis, and especially high fructose corn syrup. Even though the advertising says corn is corn, that's just not true. The way your body digests real corn versus fake corn is completely different. And that goes the same for real food versus fake food. Balance watching the depressing news shows and reading the newspapers with inspirational and positive programming reading. Okay? Basically, don't watch television, in my opinion. All right? It's probably been 3 months ago, 2.5 months ago, we actually got rid of the cable in our house. My kids thought it was going to be the end of the world, but really they've adapted very well, and it's a completely different dynamic. Then we don't have to sit down in front of that television and watch some negative show that is on. Okay, we can choose what we're exposing our kids to and what we're exposing ourselves to, and there's nothing positive on television at all. Okay, so you need to make sure you're balancing that correctly. The more negative you put in, you got to replace that with positive if you want to get rid of the negative psychological stress. Make a list. Finish all those uncompleted tasks and projects. Okay. Prepare for your week. Be prepared is the most important thing you can do to minimize your psychological stress in a week. If you're prepared for everything that day or that week, that's going to reduce a lot of problems on what you have to do, where you have to go, how am I going to have time for this, those kinds of things. You have to schedule it. Okay. So some health effects of negative psychological stress. There's a new part of science that's called psychoneuroimmunology. All right. Basically, it means your thoughts change the way your nerves function, which changes your health because of your immune system not working correctly. All right, and there's proof of this all over the place, that your thoughts are determining your level of health. Okay, we see it a lot in our office. The people that come in and are somewhat positive or moving towards the positive aspects of life, they improve so much faster than the people that continually have negative stress in their lives that they can't get rid of. Okay, it's just a fact of life. If you need to have more positive than negative in your life. Okay, and this really affects why we do what we do in our office, is because of the thought processes and those kinds of things. That's why we look at everything that we do when people come into our office. So some other health effects of psychological stress. Research shows that negative psychological stress causes high blood pressure, is the strongest indicator of a heart attack. Okay, if you have a lot of negative stress, you're going to lead yourself to a heart attack. Okay, it's strongly related to depression. Okay, once again, more than likely because you're not exercising and you're not organized in your life, so you can't keep everything moving in that positive direction. All right, it rewires the brain and affects the way the brain functions. You realize your brain is in complete control of your body at all times. It receives messages in, it puts messages out what to do in response to everything that's going on a second-by-second basis. Okay? Negative psychological stress is actually rewiring your brain. Okay? We need to stop that and get the positive in there so it doesn't continue to happen. Causes depressed immune function and decreases our ability to fight disease and infection. Okay? So we're sicker because of it. All right? Which then leads to more medicine, which then leads to lots of things. All right? People with explosive tempers have much more calcium in their coronary arteries, putting them at a higher risk for heart attack than the people who seldom blow up when angry. Okay? Negative psychological stress leads to obesity. Okay, we have a very successful weight loss competition that we run in our community. This is why stress is talked about in our contest so much, is because the negative stress is what leads to the eating wrong and the not exercising and the just general obesity, because the negative stress is just shutting down your body's ability to grow and repair things, so it just stores everything. When you're not in that growth phase, your body just holds on to everything it can get, and that's where you get the obesity and the overweight issues. Okay. So I've talked about chiropractic quite a bit already. Chiropractic adjustments help to dissipate the negative effect of psychological stress in the body. It's important to get your spine checked and adjusted while making these life-saving lifestyle changes. Okay, that's the other thing. That if you're not getting adjusted, sometimes making these changes aren't near as effective as they could be. If your body's not working correctly, then you're not going to get the impact that you're looking to get. Okay, so here's what I do on a daily basis, on a nightly basis now. Okay, I first start off by writing 3 things I'm grateful for today. Okay. Sometimes you have to look pretty deep to find something that you're grateful in a day. But, you know, it can just be as simple as breathing. Okay? Lots of days for me, it's just being able to breathe out of my nose. It's an amazing thing now. Never been able to do it my whole life, but boy, I can do it now. It's kind of cool. So, you write down the 3 things you're grateful for. All right? Then I go through and I schedule my day for the next day. All right, I have certain time slots that are available for me to read, available for me to get connected spiritually, available for me to do yoga, available for me to exercise, available for me to spend it with my kids. You know, so I basically have a 5:30 to 6:30 routine in the mornings. Then I have a lunchtime routine, and then I have an after work routine. Okay, so you know there's going to be hours in your day that you can plug things in and get them wrote down. That's the important thing. You have to write all this down. All right? So what I schedule for my day is my power hour, which is from 5:30 to 6:30 usually, okay? So that includes 20 minutes of yoga, that'll include 20 minutes of spiritual growth, and that'll include 20 minutes of reading, okay, to grow my brain. All right? Then the exercise I schedule usually around lunch, and then time with family and spouse is usually after dinner. Okay, but we have to schedule that. And usually from 8:30 to 9 or 9:30, that's my time to either read some more or to just down regulate from the whole day and all those kinds of things. All right? And then what I've done is the bottom of my page is the 3 things to do tomorrow that move me toward my life vision. Okay? I know where I want to be, so I need to do something the next day to move me towards that. Okay, and if I don't, then I just retool it and move it for the next day. Okay, you can't continually beat yourself up for not getting things done the way you want to, but you have to write them down so you know where you're going. Okay, this is a really important thing, is to write all this down. Okay, and something me and my wife have started doing over the last month is we actually sit down together at night. And we go through and do this, and then we share it with each other. Okay? It helps us hold each other accountable for what we're doing the next day, and it also helps us know what each other's grateful for. Because usually we try to make one thing grateful for what happened at work, one thing for what happened with, you know, life in general, and then one thing that we're grateful for each other for. Okay? That grows our relationship, that grows our marriage by a ton. I mean, it's just a very helpful thing. Okay. Here's a big one that we have lots of problems with in society, is just to commit. All right? You have to focus on improving your lifestyle in this dimension. It's a tough thing, and you really have to focus on living consciously. Okay? If you aren't familiar with what I mean by living consciously, there's another book by Nathaniel Branden, actually, the same person that wrote the 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. He wrote another book called The Art of Living Consciously. Okay, very good book, very good book. Sometimes it's challenging because when you do start living consciously, you see when you don't do the things you need to do. Okay, so it's a check system in itself, obviously, but that's something. If you don't know what I mean by living consciously, that's another book to find. Okay, I just bought it off Amazon a couple months ago, so that it's out there. So you need to set specific goals for this dimension. what you will do, when you're going to do it by, and what outcomes you're looking for, and the specific timelines for them. Okay? All right. And if you have any questions or need some help with this, let us help you. That's what we're here for, is to help you and coach you with your lifestyle and get your body to the place that you want it to be. Okay? So I just like these questions. Okay? So, would you rather be healthy or just not sick? Would you rather be happy or just not sad? Be wealthy or just not poor? Be intelligent or just not dumb? Okay? So what those questions are is you want to pursue the positive or just avoid the negative. All right? We can't get what we want in life by avoiding the negative. Okay? When you get in a taxi cab in New York, you don't say, I don't want to go here. Correct? You say, I want to go there. Okay? So we have to put that down and we have to go towards something rather than trying to avoid it. Okay? We can't truly be successful and we truly can't be healthy unless we're trying to pursue the positive. Okay? So, just remember there is no finish line in life or in health. Okay? So health is like happiness. It's a journey, not a destination. So you have to enjoy the journey and strive for excellence, being a better person. Whoops, what happened there? Being a better person today than you are tomorrow. So I apologize for that glitch at the end. Not sure what happened. But I just wanted to say thank you for joining us on our first video seminar that we had the opportunity to hold for you. We will be doing these more on a continual basis. That way you can see what I'm talking about rather than just listening to my voice on a telephone, okay? So you can take notes, you can go off those kinds of things, all right? So once again, thank you, and we appreciate your joining us. If you have any questions at all or anything, please email me at randfamilywellnesscenter@gmail.com. Thank you.